Welcome back to the LEC, everyone. Schalke 04 will get to end the split with 6 victories on the board, and I have Orome with me to talk about this victory. Thank you very much for joining me. You were allowed to play League of Legends today, unlike the Kalista situation we had yesterday. So can you tell me about the matchup you had against Wonder and why did it go wrong?
I kind of knew how to play against Kalista, but I think maybe my pick wasn't the greatest. I think the Jace pick was decent. It's just that I really needed jungle cover, I think, at like 230 on the first wave when I catch up, but he just took a different jungle path and he couldn't cover me there, so it kind of went wrong from there. I don't know, maybe if I had a different champion like Camille or Jax with a better jungler, then I could be able to counterpick the lane like that, but instead I went for Jace to just go for like a 5-5 matchup and get to start winning really hard after maybe like 1 or 2 bases. But it's just, they had Kalista Xerxe and I couldn't really find a combo that was good there because we would just be losing 2v2 in every scenario, and we had Ziggs and Azir as our carries, and I couldn't really go Rumble there because that was kind of the only good answer I think there that I had into Kalista, but then it was just, how do you call it? It would just be really easy for her to itemize just Mo and stuff like that. And I see Twitch chat saying better jungler, blame the jungler poke, but it's not jungler's fault. It's actually my fault because I kind of turbo into after that. But I don't know, it's my fault for picking that matchup and not having a different matchup. That's something that was a bit more like self-sufficient. But I think overall our 2v2 will be losing most of the time.
It's a weird matchup also, and I mean, listening to you, it looks like you have every tools to make it better the next time you encounter such a situation on the top lane. And for sure you made it better today. I mean, Jax versus Aurelia was a bit free, I guess, and this performance got you player of the game here. So
wow, thank you. Thanks to chat for voting me. I feel great. I mean, it feels good, especially after yesterday I kind of got stomped super hard, and it felt a bit bad to have an end of the split with performance like that. But I guess today kind of made up for it. I'm happy I got to play this matchup. I think Rogue really entered with their draft. I mean, imagine they're buying picking Aurelia top. They don't even have it as a flex, and it's quite doomed if I have like picks prepared against it. Well, I mean, I don't really have Jax prepared, you know, but it's a matchup that has been there for like years, and it's always been free win, especially when you have Sejuani and stuff like this. So I think they just trolled really hard with their draft, and I think they were a bit too cocky to think they can just play stuff like this against us.
And this allows you to maintain the 100% win rate on Jax, so congrats on this one.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Trevor was mentioning it during the cast, and you had a 100% win rate in competition when it comes to playing Jax. So
wait, what's my win? How many games?
How many games? Oh, okay. I'll look it up later and I'll tell you about it because 2 games. Okay, 2 games.
Oh, that's a big sample size. You know what also has a 100% win rate? My Ramos has 21 KDA, 2 games. I guess I should bring it back for the win rate.
Something to consider for summer, I think. And since Schalke will go on a break as of now because you guys didn't make playoff, do you have any resolutions when it comes to summer? Things you would like to bring or to focus on, maybe?
Still be alive after Corona passes. I want to enjoy my summer after. But gameplay-wise, I just want to keep going with my performance that I had so far. This Spring Split, I think I had a decent split, regardless of like the standings of our team. I just want to keep going with that like mentality and try to improve on things because I feel like we kind of found a bit of our identity now with how we've been playing recently. We won 4 of our last 5 games. And yeah, I mean, we still didn't deserve to make playoffs because you're just super bad at the beginning. But hopefully I want to aim higher for summer for sure. I don't want to end on 8 that we are right now. I don't know, still feels bad and this low, but at least I played fine. So
you played fine, and I mean, before the G2 game, you were on the 3-game winning streak. So let's just keep G2 and say you ended the split on a 4-game winning streak, and
we're so good.
There for summer. Yeah,
now it looks better. But I just try to keep playing well for summer, and yeah, that's that's it, pretty much.
Okay, well, rest well. Please stay safe. And as always, pleasure talking to you, Odo. I hope you'll enjoy your break and see you in
it's
summer.
gonna be great.
Yeah. Take care and see you soon.
Okay.
Well, we'll take a short break, and coming up next, we will have OG versus Mad Lions, and Casual will be joining us for pre-match and picks
Why
and
not
bans.
me? Why aren't you
Well,
guys asking me?
Ask the broadcast then, but for now, see you soon, guys.
Okay, bye.
I'm feeling like it's pulling me under. You tell me take my hand and trust me if you can. I know I'll be okay if I hold you, and I'm not letting go. You've woken up this feeling inside me. It's opened up my eyes. This thing I cannot hide. Do anything to keep it around me, and I'm not letting go. I'm out of control. No, nothing's ever taking me over. I'm on a natural high. You make me come alive, and I can be as brave. Let me show you that I'm not letting go. I'm out of control. Don't know where this world will take me. I'm out of control, and I think it's gonna break me. I'm out of control. Don't know where this world will take me. I'm out of control.
Welcome back to our coverage of the LEC, where I'd like to welcome XL's Cadril, who is joining us for the pre-match and the picks and bans. Hello, Cadril.
Hello there.
Hi, very nice to hear you. Unfortunately, of course, well, XL didn't have the best end to the split, but nevertheless, we're very happy that you're joining us for this segment.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest of endings. I think we went 0-4 the last 2 weeks, but yeah, once we were out of playoffs, it was quite difficult, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all understand that and hoping for a good remonta in, of course, the summer split. For now, though, the matter of the day is that Rogue, since their loss, they are now locked in 6th place. This also means that we will have no tiebreakers at the end of the day. And very important for the Mad Lions, they can get 4th place with a win over Origen here. Kadril, before we dive into the jungle matchup, when it comes to Mad Lions as a whole, what have you thought about the way they've played the split and how well they've actually done?
Well, I think they've had some good performances in certain games, like they took down G2 and Fnatic, so I think when, like for example, Shadow as a player, I think he's really talented, especially on mechanical champions like Lee Sin. I think he obviously pops off on those champions, but across the board, I think they're not exactly individually strong, I just think they come together well as a team, and you can see in the mid-game they play really well around Carzzy and Humanoid in their carries. But yeah, if you look at their lane phase, I think their lane phases aren't the strongest, but as a team they just come together really well.
Yeah, and sometimes it is about the sum of your parts. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say, when you look at their team fighting in particular, like Carzzy and Kaiser drive so much of that. They play some unique champions as well, with like the Kalista in the bot side, the Taric as well. So I really like what I've seen from them throughout the rest of the split.
That is true. Let's turn our attention a bit more towards that jungle matchup, Kadril. I'd love to know what you think. Xerxe is, of course, one of those junglers we have here in Europe who's had great performances actually over the years he's been here. But now Origen is vying to do more than that, right, in this split. On the other side, we have Shadow, who is, as said, a newer player, rookie, a younger player. And you yourself also have only done jungle for, like, I would say, is it a year and a half now or 2 years?
Yeah, year
after the swap? Yeah, so I think it's comparable. So what do you think Shadow focuses on as being earlier in his career as opposed to someone who's jungled for like 5-6 years?
Yeah, I think you've got both these junglers are kind of the opposites. You have Shadow, who's, like I said, super mechanically talented, and he goes for these really aggressive dives and plays, and he looks for really crazy flanks in teamfights and just comes with lots of creative stuff individually. And I think that's shown to work very well against top teams because it just catches you off guard really well. Whereas I think Xerxe on the other side, he doesn't look for these dives or plays. He's just really good at being at the right place at the right time. He really moves well with his team, and he's always counter-ganking the right ganks. And Xerxe is one of those junglers which is really hard to punish. Like, you will never be able to kill this guy in his jungle 1v1 or anything because he's so safe and smart about where he needs to be and what he needs to do.
Yeah, and right now we're seeing clips actually from the last time these two teams faced off, and you'd think you see Karthus for Xerxe versus the Rek'Sai and Shadow. Shadow would have the advantage, but no. Origen actually went for this like pretty creative level 1 invade where they split the map right down the middle, and it just stopped Shadow from doing anything. And I think that is sort of how Xerxe will approach the jungle. It's like more of a team game for him. He's the efficiency king. When he shows up to lanes, he knows he's going to get a kill, or he's going to be there to try and break a potential freeze or put the lane back into a good state, where Shadow is going to be super explosive in the way he plays. You saw the stats earlier. He's getting a lot of kills, but he's also dying a lot too. It can go both ways.
Yeah, and when we look at this game, that's a good characterization. Did you want to say something, Kadril? Sorry. It's a bit
no, I was
hard
just going to say, if you saw on the stats, on the stats it also showed Xerxe had the lowest deaths as well, which, yeah, he's, like I said, he's so hard to kill in his jungle, and he's really low on deaths and really plays safe. And, I mean, I wouldn't say he plays overly safe to the point where he's not doing anything. He just plays super safe to the point where he's reliable and, he's never going to fall behind.
And I think that fits kind of in the systems of both teams. I think especially Origen, they always come in with a plan. They're very well prepared and they played it out to a T. And if you then have a jungler like Xerxe who is so efficient and never spends too much or gives up deaths where he doesn't need to, that system works very well. And that's where I think Mad really is going to have to also have a plan coming in here. I don't think they can just see what happens and you have to come prepared versus a team like OG because you can kind of predict what they will gonna want to do.
Right, you're always going to expect to see the volatility come out from Mad's side, but this game is pretty exciting for them as well because the whole conversation around Mad Lions has been, can they be the 4th best team in the LEC? And right now they're in a position to try and claim that themselves, but they're also playing against the team that everyone is pegging for 3rd best at the moment too, so this is a game where they could try to make a statement going into playoffs.
Right, and here we are in the picks and bans, and we have Senna and Kalista already off the board, as well as Gragas, so one jungle ban already. Possibly support, who knows, and a Gangplank and a Karthus on the other side. So we're definitely seeing that the teams are also following our line of thought.
Yeah, I think Orn is still up, Aphelios is still up. Interesting to see what the last ban is. You could probably trade both of them. But there are champions like MF Open as well, which are quite good into Aphelios, so it just depends on the priorities. Origen as a team, they do like Orn, I think, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it, but normally when they play Orn, they like to play Karthus as well, but that's banned away, so yeah, I'm not sure what their first big priority is going to be.
Yeah, because OG's drafts have been pretty interesting. If you actually look at their last 6 games, Alphari's gone for the Renekton in 5 of them, and that's because Nukeduck hasn't really shown a lot of AD mid laners, and Xerxe has been really playing a lot of these magic damage junglers as well, whether it's the Xerxe or the Karthus. So seeing the Karthus banned away could end up changing a lot in how they approach the draft. You can already see the Ornn priority, like you were mentioning, is falling through, even though that is going to be a really strong flex pick for OG. They're going for the nerf to Felios instead.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. We've seen it so much, Kato. Can you make sense of that? Because we were saying coming into this week, well, we're never going to see a Felios, but proves us wrong.
Yeah, I think he's still quite a strong champ. He's obviously still a first pick worthy champ. I think him, MF, and Kalista are the top 3 AD carries right now. But the only thing I'm worried about in this draft for Origin is Syndra and Ornn are up, and those 2 champs on red side are quite strong because you can flex them in 3 roles. So it's quite difficult to draft against that on blue side. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you give it the Ornn here as well, like, we know Orome likes to play weak side of the map too, so that would just put him on something that can soak up a lot of laning phases and be very happy. Now with the Lee Sin next to the Syndra, like, Mad Lions are already trying to tell you that they want to take over around this middle lane, but I actually, like, I agree with you, like, I'm sort of confused at why Mad Lions would give up the Ornn. I know Shadow's a great Lee Sin, he pops off on that champion, but I don't think Xerxe was going to try to steal that away in second phase right there.
Yeah, and then now you've given them the Ornn and Nautilus, and those are kind of double flex in a sense, because Nautilus can also go mid or support. So it kind of makes it tricky. I like the fact that they pick away Renekton, and now they can put bans into support or jungle if they want to get the strongest jungle on 4. Take away counters to Lee Sin, sorry. I think Sejuani is really good, Rek'Sai is really good. Or you can just pick the Renekton thinking Ornn will go mid and just ban out top laners.
For Mad Lions, I understand you guys as you say, well, you can't let the Ornn go, but I think yesterday we also saw again that the Humanoid is playing so well recently, and maybe they want to bank a lot on that mid-jungle synergy because it has worked for them in the past, so we'll see if that's the route they decide to go in this game as we go into the second ban phase.
Yeah, already it seems like Mad Lions think there's some funny business going on with the Ornn here. Maybe it's going to be in the mid lane because they're taking away the Aatrox right there. Like, I don't think Alphari, with the split he's been having, really wants to be stuck on tank duty up there in the top lane. So it doesn't really surprise me to see that removed. And now with the Olaf off the board as well, like, I do wonder what Xerxe goes towards, because like he has gone for the Rek'Sai into this matchup a lot in the past, but if they wanted to, they could just look for like super heavy dive and go for one of the more scaling options like the Zac that Xerxe's liked in the past.
Yeah, Xerxe really likes Big Zac into Lee Sin. I think it's also decent in the Syndra. Obviously she has the knockback, which is quite annoying, but the thing with the Syndra is she could be flexed to AD carry, so if you do go for something like the Zac and then it ends up that they last pick like a LeBlanc, it can make mid jungle quite difficult if Syndra does go into bot lane. So champions like Rek'Sai are kind of good or safe overall. Sejuani is quite safe if you have a strong AD champ that you can sit with, but it depends what they think is the best.
So what are we making of this?
They're still keeping the flexes alive right now because like that's probably going to be a set support. If I'm like guessing here, like set support is, I think, really strong at the moment. Like he can soak pretty much any lane phase. Like you can't move him out of lane because of his passive, and then he also is just going to win any fight when you go into him. He can't do a lot proactively on his own, I don't feel like, but anyone trying to like initiate a fight in towards them is going to take a massive burst of damage from his W.
Well, Xerxe's going for the classic.
With the recent patches and all these new champions and all the changes like Senna, Seth, Aphelios, basically this split has been Flex City really. I think the longer the splits goes on, the more flexes have been available for each teams. So kind of you can see in every draft there's so many flexes and you don't really know where anything's going. So. Well,
now we do. Hopefully, the Ornn will be mid then, I guess.
Yeah, looks like Ornn mid on top of the least. It's quite a strong 2v2. I think Gnar can push in Renekton, so Elise can look for early dives towards top side, which is really good for the team, and Nautilus is also a really strong support to push in and dive with, so I like the comp by Origin overall.
It's worked itself out. I'm not entirely sure about the mad composition though, before they change.
It's just Tank City right here, right? Like they've got set support, and then like it's probably going to be Orome playing the Maokai, if I had to guess here, with Humanoid on the alligator. Wait, why did I forget his name? Renekton. Oh my god. But yeah, no, this is like you have like really high kill pressure around mid lane, I think. I mean, it's into an Ornn, I'm realizing, so maybe not so much.
Yeah, not so much. The 2v2s look a bit hard. Both teams have quite a lot of tanks. I mean, I didn't expect Renekton to go mid in this matchup. I was expecting something like a Sylas last pick or like a LeBlanc with Lee Sin. But Renekton Lee Sin is quite strong early. It just depends. I mean, I guess picking the Maokai is making it so Elise's job is a lot harder. She can't really dive top that much anymore. But it just depends how the Origen wants to play the game, really.
I'm just really wondering how Mad Lions are supposed to kill Origen later in the game. Like, you have a Syndra as your only, like, actual DPS target, and I guess she can build a Leandries, but I think it's gonna be really hard to cut through a lot of those players.
Yeah, I do apologize for us talking over each other just a little bit. It isn't that easy as usually when we see each other, so we can make passive-aggressive hand signals to each other. Nevertheless,
so instead you make passive-aggressive remarks?
No, it's just blaming myself, you know. In any case, Kadril, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure as always.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem at all. And now we're going to see if the Mad Lions can secure 4th place as they face off against Origen.
Welcome back to the LEC. It's Origen versus the Mad Lions. I'm Quickshot, joined by Yamato Cannon once more. And Yamato, after we get this invade, I want you to tell me what you think of the drafts, and maybe talk a little bit to what Ender and Kadril were talking about regarding damage from Mad Lions. So nothing comes of it. Give me a summary of the drafts.
Honestly, Origen got like the Exodia draft going on for themselves. They got the 3 best pieces for Origen in the book with the Ornn, Nautilus, and Aphelios. I think if this game proceeds in a way where Origen can easily play into bottom side, Ornn and Gnar just play safe side, make sure they don't get ganked, I think it's very easy to snowball into that bottom lane because of Nautilus and Elise. I think the scaling is also on Origen's side. Mad Lions need to find some good mid-game fights in order to use the fact that they have so many bruisers. If the spells connect and the CC connects for Mad Lions, then they can look very, very dangerous, especially between that gap of time when there are no Mercury's bought, there are no Ninja Tabis bought, no boots in general, because when the stats begin to come in, I think Mad Lions' composition is just going to run out of steam completely.
Yeah, well, look at it this way. If they run out of steam, Mad Lions open themselves up to the possibility of losing 4th seed. Now, the odds are very, very low because it would need Misfits to pick up a win against G2. But the way that this weekend is playing out, surprises have been happening quite a lot. And if Origen want to live on Cloud9 in a dream world, if they pick up a win here and Fnatic lose, well, then all of a sudden Origen takes 2nd. So there's a little bit of at stake here for both of these teams. No matter how unrealistic those odds may be, Yamato, I think it is important to keep them in mind.
Honestly, odds have not been anyone's friend this weekend. We've had all types of crazy going on, and especially looking at this match, if we think about odds, Origen beat down on the teams below them. They always play in a fashion which is very stable, very basic, good drafting, and they just never look like they're out of control in the game. Last time these teams faced off, it also looked super, super easy for Origen. So definitely the odds in favor of the Origen. Mad Lions need to hope that the continuation of the odds, meaning nothing at all, continues here today.
Well, let's see what happens, because Nukeduck will faceplant. I think he was going for Humanoid. We'll let that one slide for a moment.
Dive on bottom side already.
Big party. Upset and Destiny, they respect it. They were backing away in time. You were talking about beatdown. You were using some, like, fighting ring terminology earlier. Punches to the face, uppercuts, that sort of thing. So, Syndra and Set versus Aphelios and Nautilus. How on earth does that play out?
Well, I think, especially with the nerfs to Aphelios, he is not that strong in the early lane phase. 2 platings gone already. That is wild.
Yeah,
we're gonna have some actions. I can talk about it later.
Oh my word, that's a flash engage from Kaiser. Upsets the first target, first blood to Shadow. It is traded though, 1-for-1. AD for support, now Alphari, he throws out the boomerang. He's about to get excited. The Hyper keeps letting him chase down onto Humanoid. Flash over from Destiny, and a dredged line or a boop to the head. That's all that's going to be needed. 2 kills to Origen.
Wow, so they just commit completely into the dive. I felt like after they rotated into the bottom side and Orome got to push the wave a little bit, I think it's okay to back off. You denied some CS. They kept going for it. Orome is ready to TP. Gnar also in position to TP. Elise on the wrong side of the map. Maybe Maka should have committed to this to turn this into a 4v5. But diving turrets so early on, you need to use summoners. You need to you lose a lot of HP. And then Trevor Quickshots Henry's favorite ability, the boomerang finishes of Humanoid.
I think my favorite ability is Bear Trap on a rope.
Bear Trap on a rope, the Kled thing. Is it called
Yes.
that?
Yeah. His
What
cue
the
is
hell?
Bear Trap on a rope. And then as it ticks, chomps down and pulls you back. I can't say it without going a little bit sing-songy. Like, it has to be Bear Trap on a rope. And you can add pauses and delays in different spots. But it's my favorite thing to yell and scream, genuinely.
It just sounds like a Family Guy skit. Bear Trap on a rope, hey!
I was always more of a South Park guy than a Family Guy guy, so...
I like them both. I think that's alright.
You're allowed to like them both. I wasn't trying to segregate fans. I was just saying I watched one over the other, but yeah, I like where that's going. So we didn't get to explore this idea. Syndra said the lane state is now really different. No summoners at all on OG side. There's still the flash and the TP for Carzzy. But after all the chaos, like, how are the next few minutes going to play out and focusing on this dual lane to start with?
Definitely this gives them a lot of room to snowball. Upset lost both summoners. Carzzy has a TP to get back into lane. This is going to be very easy for Mad Lions to just continue. Oi, oi, oi!
Yeah, so this goes very well. That's what the Syndra set wanted to do. Shadow, no flash. Not going to be able to chase down, but I mean, that was beautiful.
My goodness. The key question for me is, why did OG decide to path the Elise into topside? Why is Elise covering for the Gnar over and over? All the action is around bottom side. The Aphelios and the Nautilus need space to play the game, but now with the position, Carzzy TP advantage, flash advantage, this is going to be most likely another kill. OG need to find a way to stop the bleeding. Here we go again. Mad Lions.
Oh, looking for it. Not going to find the stun. That's a pullback at least. A couple of punches to the face, a left, a right. True damage comes out. Nukeduck just escaping. He had flash if he needed it, but really nice escape from Nukeduck. And honestly, I like the proactive play from Mad. They fumbled the dive bottom lane, sure, but I like that they pulled the trigger. I like that trying to grab control of the game, and they're trying to grab control of their destiny. Secure 4th place with the win.
So here, when Upset doesn't have the long-range sniper rifle, he needs to walk up to the wave quite far up. Syndra bottom is not something that we see that often, but with Syndra can be played. She's just so strong in the lane. Here we have another dive, but Nukeduck is in position. I think nothing's gonna happen. Good that Mad Lions don't commit to it once again like before. But in conclusion of the dive we saw before, the key thing was that Gnar got ahead. That's not gonna change top lane matchup. Gnar against Maokai, regardless of what state he's in, he's always gonna push and have prio, nothing else. But then, the big change here is the fact that Mad Lions bot lane is ahead and Aphelios and Nautilus so far behind. That has the bigger impact, because now Upset and Destiny are going to be targets for the rest of the game. Mad Lions can continue to snowball this, because the prio from Renekton and Lee Sin, they can just give up the mid wave and just walk down bottom and use the fact that Mad Lions is so strong here.
Yeah, and also think about the tools that Mad Lions can employ. I mean, Orome's ultimate, Shadow's mobility along with Renekton, the range on Syndra with the Scatter the Weak. Good cocoon from Xerxe, not going to do much. But then also Kaiser, he can use that ult to close some distance, but pulling back Upset, the shield comes up, Unleash Power, and it's 1, 2, 3, Upset, you're dead, and now another tower dive on the way. Xerxe is here to respond with Nukeduck, so that's going to dissuade any pressure, and all of a sudden, Humanoid is forced to back away. But again, great engage from Carzzy and Kaiser.
It's so difficult to play Aphelios against this. After that initial dive, Aphelios is so far behind and Mad Lions keep continuing to snowball. The only way to solve this now is to use the fact that maybe Orome, I was looking at the TPs, I was thinking about Alphari's TP, but he's the one without TP, so that's one avenue closed. The only way to solve this for Origen is to try to play on that mid 2v2. Or now has some armor, so he's going to be very tanky against the Lee and the Renekton. They need to try to use that 2v2 power to kind of give pressure to that Aphelios, because wherever Aphelios goes, that is a weakness on the map for Origen that Mad Lions can easily abuse.
trying to remember, at the beginning of the day, Yamato, Shadow in the Rookie of the Split video, what did he say? If they give me Lee Sin, maybe I can get Rookie of the Split? Let's see what he can do for the rest of this game, because he's shown up a couple times. He's helped get at least one of his team's 3 kills. And I think once he starts comboing with Set and with Renekton, there's going to be some crazy plays going on. And there might be one in the mid lane.
It's interesting here because Maokai has TP advantage, so any type of fight where Orome just gives up bottom tower and some platings to force a 4v5 is going to be heavily in Mad Lions' favor. So I don't know how much OG can do here to contest the next Rift Herald. It's going to be quite difficult.
Where does all the damage come from on OG's side? I mean, I know Ornn is surprising. I know Aphelios deals a lot, but it feels to me like they lack a little bit of damage. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah, for sure. At this point in time, I have to agree with you. Maybe if they can CC chain one target, especially at this point in the game, they can get those guys down. But it's hard to land those abilities when there's a Kaiser playing set, blocking any cocoon or anything like that with this Giant's belt. You know, it doesn't only hold up his pants, it also gives him a lot of HP. So he's going to be super tanky, and any type of combinations that OG can do to maybe one-shot someone just won't happen. So definitely OG need to slow this game down as much as possible. Mad Lions need to continue the snowball. They need to look for more dives. They need to look for more proactive plays. Right now, OG is stabilizing, and they look very happy. Maybe give up the next dragon. That's all right.
Oh man, those Kaiser carry pants being held up by the Giant's belt allows Mad Lions 700 gold lead, 3 kills to 2. They've got an Ocean Drake with Infernal in 40 seconds. But look down the CS. Yes, Orome is currently down versus his lane opponent around 20. But then Humanoid is up. Carzzy is significantly up, 1,100 gold, around 25 CS, 2 kills to 0. And yes, that's a Syndra, of course, so it's going to scale differently to that of an Aphelios. But you cannot disregard the advantageous position that Mad have put themselves in. And now it's execution time. 10 seconds to Drake. It looks like Kaiser's setting up vision. I think they want this fight, Yamato.
I would call OG crazy if they're going to go for this one. Looking at the itemization, it looks kind of bleak. The Ruby Crystal, no finished item, the Call on Nar. I think they're just happy to take a couple of creeps for free and not take any big explosive fights just yet. I think when we're going to reach that 4th soul mark, then maybe. But Origen are looking for a trade on the top side, and I like this decision.
And Origen all split long have also prioritized the Rift Herald, conceded dragons to play the gold game on the towers. It's a trend we've seen a number of times from them. I was going to ask a question of you. Do you think it's still fair to call Origen a slow team? When you think of the wins in the last few weeks, you think of how they've really showed they can be dominant and they can speed up their play when they want to?
I think, slow has such a negative connotation to it for some reason. I just feel like Origen are taking the path to victory that is guaranteed. They don't tend to play that risky, and I think that's good. That's a positive thing, because in games like this, we can, or maybe not in this particular game, but in previous games, we can always trust Origen to kind of finish games out. And in a lot of cases with other teams, we don't have that same trust. For example, Rogue lost against SK and Schalke. It was like, oh my goodness, how did this happen? This is looking quite grim too, but Origen still have the right mindset to come back into this game. They're trying to stop the bleeding, and I think with this trade for the Drake on the top side, it was some good moves.
It's actually interesting you said the right mindset, and also then the implication is that we as viewers and shoutcasters, you kind of think if a team can come back, Origen would be one of them, Fnatic would be one of them, G2 would be one, that even though you're behind in gold, you can see how the individual players and the team would be able to dig themselves out of that position, and I guess that's why these teams are sort of 1, 2, and 3 in the standings.
That's also Origen always, if we put them in the context of what their issue is in comparison to G2 and Fnatic, then sure, that is a situation where there's a problem that they are slower. They don't have those innate draft advantages, or they don't have the time to figure out the game as much as they have against the weaker opponents. It's just that mid-game pace that Fnatic and G2 have that is just unmatched by many teams, not only in Europe, but all over the world.
Yeah, and the reason that I reference that and bring it up now is that this could be your 3rd and 4th place team, which means that Fnatic and G2 will be playing one of these 2 teams next weekends in playoff. The first seed gets to pick between 3 and 4, and whoever is left over plays the second seed. We know that G2 is locked into first, so they're going to be watching this game with a lot of intensity, a lot of focus, start see what they can garner from it. This is the assumption that Misfits don't surprise everybody and jump into that 4th place position. Although it might be a G2 thing that they, have a little bit of a happy game today and then pick Misfits in the first round of playoffs, because that would be their prerogative if that came to be.
Can they even pick them? I don't even think they can.
So
no,
if-
Misfits are 5th and 6th, right?
It depends. If Mad Lions win this game, they're guaranteed 4th. If Mad Lions lose this game and Misfits win, Misfits take 4th.
Okay. Well, I think on G2's part, the question is like if we look at these two teams, if the difference is between choosing OG and Mad Lions, it's almost like Origen is like a known quantity, and playing against that in the best of 5 might be more comfortable. Mad Lions never played a best of 5 in the LEC. They're like the dark horse coming into it. So it's a question of choices. But in the end, I do think Origen is the better team in the best of 5. So it's going to be interesting to see how those choices kind of pan out later.
Yeah, well, let's see how this game continues to play out, as I just kicked my microphone, sorry. Blade of the Rune King completed for Humanoid's Renekton. Carzzy sitting on Luden's Echo. Sunfire Cape for Orome on the Maokai. You'd think that would be dangerous to hit the tree, but it's not. But I mean, item advantage, they've got that one item spike, it's activated already. So I think wisely you see Origen backing away from any sort of skirmishes or shenanigans in the mid lane.
Ooh!
Oh, another fantastic setup. Oh, Upset survives for a few seconds. The cleanse comes out, Scout of the Week does not take him out, and Destiny escapes with his life. How Upset survived, I will never know. You know it's going to look to clear out the wave with the Dominus, and he does.
Okay.
A lot of damage. Xerxe's gone. No flash. Orome. Correction. Humanoid decides not to chase.
I was thinking Orome too, and then I realized Humanoid. I was surprised, like, Orome, this aggressive? Ooh, oh, never mind. Humanoid. Okay, makes sense.
I
Now
actually
looking-
just go back. Did I call him Orome in the tower dive? I think I may have, actually. It's just, you see a champion like Renekton, it's still like burned into my brain as a top lane champion.
Yeah, I'm with you for sure, man. Back in my days when I played top lane, then Renekton was only top lane, nothing else.
Yeah, I remember those days very fondly, Yamato Cannon. Very fondly indeed.
Looking at these compositions now, Origen have options in the side lane. Mid lane is pretty rough, they're keeping the turret alive, but the 2v2 from Elise Ornn is quite powerful. Nara's also winning against Maokai, so Origen, as they've kind of stopped the bleeding, and even though they're 3k goal behind in terms of itemization, they still have some options in terms of building pressure. Mad Lions need to use their mid prio and then transfer it to the right side. They have a lot of options there too, but usually towards the objective they want to play for, which is now the Cloud Drake. Most likely we see Origen also going for that trade again. They should be happy to not give any Rift Heralds, because keeping that mid turret alive is so important for them.
Okay, but now with this Drake going down and that 3k goal difference you talked about, Mad Lions are going to be on sole point very, very quickly in this game. Sub 25 minutes. With that in mind, how do you think Origen are going to have to stack up? They cannot give away the Dragon Soul without a team fight, but I do like their chances at a team fight with this comp.
Yeah, for sure. We need to pay attention to how these teams are going to set up around that Drake as we're going to get closer and closer. All about those flanks with Gnar. If Gnar doesn't get the flank and Kaiser tosses him into the enemy team, with all of that HP is going to do a lot of damage. It's interesting how all of these champions kind of interact. If Ornn gets a beautiful ultimate that kind of one-shots Carzzy, all of a sudden the fight also changes. There's a lot of options.
Yeah, there is. Nukeduck gets jumped on first. Carzzy and Kaiser a little bit late to this party here. Kaiser manages to go in, gets the showstopper down. Destiny goes golden. Nukeduck will be taken out in just a moment. No, he escapes with his life. Alphari comes in and gets the Mega Gnar against the wall. Nobody died in that engage, but look how low those HP bars are.
And OG playing a little bit with fire there. Maybe they can wait for a better moment, but a lot of summoners burnt. Especially that TP on Orome is going to be a rough one, because Orome is going to always get pushed in on side, so it means Nara's going to have a better position and no Maokai flanks. So I think this is the key thing, because even though Ornn's flash is nice and all, it's not going to be the game changer in a team fight. So I think this is definitely an advantage for Origen, because Alphari, even though he doesn't have TP, can push Maokai all the way in and then move aggressively through the enemy's jungle towards that Drake area, while Maokai will struggle to face check a Nara that now has a Black Cleaver.
You can't deny the pressure they're under. 1 TP for Nukeduck versus the 2 on the Mad Lions squad. I really, really like this aggressive, proactive playmaking Mad Lions. They can taste fourth place. They can taste the double elim being in the upper side of the bracket. And they're in an advantageous position statistically with the Soul Dragon coming up soon. I really like what I'm seeing from this young squad.
It's going to be so hard for them to burn through a Renekton that is life-stealing so much, and Maokai that's also life-stealing so much, especially with no damage from Aphelios. He finishes Essence Riven 19 minutes into the game, and that constant DPS that was supposed to be an advantage at this point in time is not there. Mad Lions can rely on their burst and their survivability, and it's going to be difficult only with Ornn damage and tank damage to finish them off. You can see Humanoid tanking up so much.
Dude, that was a 1v2. Here comes Kaiser. Oh, and he says, Sozzy! That's already one kill on to Destiny. Nukeduck is gonna fall. I forced that one a little hard, my friend, but it counts. 2 more kills to Mad Lions.
You know, I was trying to figure out how some of the usual suspect quotes could fit into a cast. It's like the greatest trick that Kaiser ever pulled was to make everyone believe that it doesn't exist, which would make sense if he was like on a 10th place team, but he's doing quite well for himself, so it doesn't work.
I must admit, yours was much more elegant, though, so... Mad Lions, 20 minutes into this game, 4,500 gold up. They've got themselves 2 minutes to the next dragon, a Baron that they're pinging on, and this is not going to be the call. I like this. It was the Scuttle. It was the Scuttle they pinged, not the Baron. I was getting ahead of myself. And right now, there are a bunch of Misfits players sweating bullets. Not only do they have to play G2 Esports later today, but Mad Lions with this lead, Yamato, you have to favor them going into the late game.
For sure. It's just that the Cloudbreak spawns in 2 minutes. We had this replay, kind of a little showcasing here of the Humanoid with the Blade Ruin King and the Conqueror just surviving some of this damage output. As long as he doesn't punch Nukeduck, he's not going to have the grievous wounds on him because Nukeduck does have the Bramble Vest. So it's all about, making sure they don't punch him. Gnar does have the grievous wounds, who's going to play a factor in this team fight, but it's all about positioning now because even though Origen 5k gold ahead, 5k gold behind, if they find a flank and they can one-shot maybe Syndra as a key target, then okay, but Mad Lions definitely super favorite in the coming fight. I think Maokai and Renekton are just unkillable. Even Set is unkillable. The man has cash. Different tax bracket in comparison to Nautilus, because Nautilus just hasn't even finished an item.
Oh, I am so keen. Watch the Deadman's plate stack up, and Kaiser just running at somebody to then just suplex them into the ground. That is going to be hype. The one thing that I've been meaning to do, and before all the shows in the office and everything was cancelled, I started talking to our stats team about putting some numbers to the Ornn upgrades, and starting to understand, even though OG are behind in gold, once Ornn starts chucking these items around, it's a lot of invisible gold that you have to always keep in the back of your mind. And if Mad Lions stall, if Mad Lions don't keep this lead up, don't continue to keep pressuring OG, then I start getting nervous, right? Ornn upgrades, plus Aphelios, plus Gnar in the side lane. But all of that goes out the window unless the fight goes awry. That's a 1-for-1 so far. Massive knockup from Nukeduck. Here comes Orome. Nature's Grasp hasn't been thrown yet, and Humanoid survives. The Blade of the Ruin King does so much work. You called it, Yamato. You can't kill the Renekton. Alphari goes in. He gets a double Mega Gnar into the wall. But now all of a sudden it's OG. They've turned it right back around. Mad Lions started the fight, but it is them who lose it.
Oh, Origen pulling the trigger at the right time. Orome was showing on that bot wave. Ayabaya is what they say in Sweden when someone does something naughty. Orome was not around and the fight started. I was surprised by how long Destiny survived because he didn't have Goggle's Stoneplate yet. But the fact that he survived for so long meant that, that consistent DPS we were talking about, Ornn managed to put it out with his Sunfire Cape. Here we go again. Maokai on the bottom wave right there. Ornn is flanking. They're jumping in. They're engaging on Destiny. Destiny doesn't matter if he dies. He already used all of his spells. Nukeduck with the ultimate there, punching away. And all of this damage that's coming in from the side. You see Gnar's position and Upset is quite safe while Ornn is tanking him up. All is good. Carzzy also using his burst there on Ornn means that there is no follow-up onto the other key targets. Nice Gnar ultimate to finish it up, and Gnar at this point in the game is quite strong himself, especially after that first kill we saw on the bottom side on Renekton when he flashed, and he's been able to farm safely away against the Maokai.
And also, super important to note, for any Mad Lions fans, Mad Lions organizations, Mad Lions, that is not my fault. I was correctly praising your team and I did not curse you, okay? So I wash my hands of any of it. Kudos to OG. They take their first dragon. They give me a lot of hope and excitement for the remainder of this game. And now Yamato, now all of a sudden the pressure is building on Mad Lions. They had played so well for 23 minutes, and now the nerves start to creep in, right? And maybe some doubt, and you second guess those next engages.
Yeah, the pancake is beginning to flip. Right now with OG's...
Oh, it's fantastic. And the pancake is not flipped just yet. It's still cooking very nicely. As the showstopper lands onto Nukeduck. Sorry, I wasn't ready for that. They get the kills, they complete the TP, and Mad Lions get the tower.
A good move here from Mad Lions. I think Origen was very focused around that Baron area, and Mad Lions pulled the trigger. Origen the same now. Oh, nice.
Alright.
Nice stun.
It was, yeah, the Moonlight Vigil, but nothing else happened. Here comes Humanoid. That's a giant Croco toy. He's not going to be able to find the stun, though. Upset was able to flash to safety. Good damage in return as Destiny starts to escape. There's the knock-up. Orome goes flying forward. The slice, flash, Cull the Meek, as well as all the damage from Humanoid. No kills just yet. Now all of a sudden Nukeduck goes down. Xerxe is coming from behind. You do not want to be there, my friend. They will squash spiders beneath their feet. Mad Lions, they are right back in it. 6k gold up, and they win the fight.
What a beautiful punish there from Mad Lions. This means so much for the game. The Cloud Drake is going to be up now in 2 minutes, and Origen burn a lot of key summons there. Upset no flash, or no flash, it means that the next fight might be the deciding one. You can see here that Origen are positioning around the Nash area, but Aphelios in base means that there is no counterplay, there is no Nash start at all, and Mad Lions read the situation super well. Going for a bottom dive at 24 minutes is very unorthodox, and if you pull unorthodox tricks against a team like Origen, then you're gonna get that value.
And not only that, the Syndra set bottom lane, the level 3, TP tower dive in the bottom lane with 4 players. Mad Lions have been hunting like a pack, like a pride of lions. They want 4th place, and they are in a position to guarantee themselves an appearance in the upper bracket of our playoffs. This is exceptionally impressive from one of the youngest teams in the league.
Now we have that Cloud Drake spawning, and luckily for Origen, if they decide to give it up, they can maybe pressure on Nasher. It's just a Cloud Drake, right? It's not the Worst Soul like we saw the last game when the Ocean Soul came in, and it just kind of shifted the game when SK played. Mad Lions, if they manage to get that Cloud, it's going to be neat for Renekton and Set to have the move speed. Maokai as well, when he throws out the Kitten army, he kind of moves with it in a cool way. It is good, but it's not like the end of days, right? So Origen, if they choose to give it up and wait for maybe another item for Aphelios, maybe another upgrade, another level up for Ornn, maybe that's kind of a better weather for them to fight.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, when you look at the itemization differences as well, 2.5, 3 items across the board, they're 4,500 gold lead. 3 Drakes to 1, 30 seconds to that dragon. So let's look at the vision, let's look at the warding, as Shadow may not give us much time here because both teams, they're just going to crash into each other, literally straight up into one another. Stepping forward, Sonic Wave from Shadow, not going to be followed up. And I'm following Humanoid. He needs to back away. So Yamato, how's this fight going to play out?
Honestly, I'm worried because OG is going in face first, and any type of engage, Kaiser can just counter-engage, and he has so many good targets to toss into the enemy team and get into the back line. He's so tanky as well, it's going to look dangerous, but OG is getting some space here in the river, it's positive for them.
Keep an eye on Alphari's rage. He's tired right now, not stacking it up. Will be in just a moment. There we go. Now that Alphari has the ability to go Mega Gnar, or relatively soon, you have to expect that's when OG want to step forward. Combine the Mega Gnar with the depth charge from Destiny. That's a knock-up onto Shadow. Gets caught by the dredge line. Goes golden thanks to stopwatch. Moonlight Vigil comes in, but I'm not sure if it's enough. Call of the Forge God. Have Mad lost control. That's a fantastic stun, but no kill just yet. Nobody dives. Engage. The suplex. Get dunked. Origen, they've got a kill or two to upset. Now Nukeduck is down as well. Carzzy's going crazy and taking Origen out.
My goodness, it looked kind of rough there because Carzzy and Humanoid were out of the fight, but then Mad Lions just turn around. The moment they could smell blood and they had a clean engage from Kaiser, all of a sudden, they just took it away. And it means that they're getting the Cloud Rake. It also means that they will have a good position moving towards the Nashor. It is an option if they want to go for it, because finding opportunities to do Nashor with this Mad Lions composition might be tricky, because the damage output is not the greatest. They're going for it.
Unbelievable. They're going to try. Meganar is there. Xerxe's in the wings. Destiny can come. Okay, Mad Lions played this one safe. They backed away.
Honestly, looking at the position of everything, I thought Carzzy was zoned off. Lee Sin got caught in the first place, he manages to survive somehow, he flashes out, the Nautilus ult comes in, and the Mad Lions manage to kite out all the key cooldowns. No Gnar ult now, no Ornn ult, and no Nautilus ult, and then boom, Kaiser with the flip, finds the big HP target, Ornn does a lot of damage onto Upset. Upset had no flash as we mentioned before, and the moment they found that position onto Upset and they killed them, the lifesteal began to show up, the Conquerors began to show up, and everyone kind of regened, and Mad Lions could keep their health just at that line right before death.
Cue the gif, Yamato, of that old guy waving his hands in the air going, "It's happening! It's happening!"
I'm actually waving my hands in the air as I'm casting,
Thank you so much. I was doing it too. I lifted them up. Oh man, we've been very lucky today. I think yesterday's games confused me a little bit. I wasn't ready for what transpired and what happened. But we've had some entertaining ones today, and Mad Lions, going into playoffs, locking themselves in fourth with the win here, locking OG into third. I mean, it's going to be very, very interesting. Humanoid will go down despite the Dominus. It doesn't feel like it's hugely important right now.
DB's coming in, but at least this is Origen delaying time a little bit. Humanoid with the classic Humanoid dying on the side lane. And Humanoid dies, right?
Yeah, that's it. Oh, you rolled natural 20. That's the best possible result. Mad Lions take fourth, and Humanoid dies in the side lane. That's how Medic would have said it, I think, right? Dungeon Master Supreme.
It's good for Origen to buy time like this. The Dungeons and Dragons jokes aside, it's once again Origen showing that they can stall out. The composition still, when these upgrades, as you mentioned, Trevor, if they're going to begin to show up, the gold disparity is going to kind of close faster and faster. So Origen, they can stop the bleeding more and more. Mad Lions composition is going to fall off. But Aphelios needs a lot more items before he's going to come online, because right now that pickaxe and the cloak of agility, it looks kind of sad.
Yeah, it's just a pickaxe to dig your own grave and a cloak of agility to put a blanket on when you climb in. That's not fair. That's a little harsh. I think Carzzy and Kaiser, they deserve a lot of praise. Even after that first tower dive didn't go well, Kaiser has consistently engaged 11 out of the team's 12 kills he's been involved in. He has roamed. I have loved his set support right now, and I don't even care. I'm on board this mad hype train. I want to see them close this game out. I think I really like what I've seen from them, and I'm very interested to see how this team will do in a best of 5. 15-20 minutes ago, Yamato, we talked about how we know what to expect from OG. We know we have confidence in OG. So what do we expect from Mad Lions as they're on the cusp of making it to the upper bracket in playoffs round 1?
Honestly, Mad Lions can throw some crazy stuff at you. They're showing it here today. Carzzy playing Syndra. We have the Renekton on mid lane, the dives onto bottom side as you mentioned, the 25-minute dives as well when Nashor is on the menu. I think all of these plays that are out of the ordinary, like sure you could say the bottom dives are normal. Someone's gonna sit there on Twitter, they see this dive all the time, blah, blah, blah. Throwing these things on Origen is kind of the right approach to kind of throw them off, because when you play the basic chess game against Origen, they're gonna beat you out. That's how Origen has beaten every team below them, and today we have a cocktail composition from Mad Lions that is working.
Go, Kaiser, go! Dead Man's Plate! He's going to be able to pull back Destiny. I'm waiting to see the ultimate come down, not even nearly saving it for another target. That is a dead diver as Destiny goes down in the top lane.
Yeah, we got a first taste of some Aphelios damage. He just reached 3 items and he pulled that ultimate and hit all targets. I got scared there for a little moment. Luckily, Nukeduck couldn't ult again because he was rooted. But Mad Lions are starting the Nashor.
Molten Edge, as well as the Hurricane and the Essence Reaver. Upset's got no ultimate, but he does have Flash and Cleanse. Nukeduck gets stunned up. Teleport coming in from Humanoid in behind. Kaiser brings Nukeduck to the team. Remember, he's got no ulti. All of a sudden, that's a very important route. Humanoid continues to chase forward. 2 members of Origen are down. And now they turn back to the bound. This is aggressive. This is confident and committed play. Alphari, he's about to gnaw out. He's got Flash available. He's not going to go in. I really thought he was going to. But they've got a little bit of a late arrival now. All of a sudden, Destiny comes in. Nature's Grasp has denied any further follow-up. Alphari is about to time out. He's not going to be able to Mega Gnaw. And Destiny just donates another death to the Mad Lions.
Oh!
It's a beautiful play from Shadow, turning the lights out on Origen. Another kill, chasing down one more. Carzzy is dominating. 8, 1, and 4. Xerxe's running for his life and he's about to get jumped on by Shadow. Shadow was schooled by Xerxe the first time they met, but it is Shadow that gets revenge today.
Wonder now if Nukeduck can defend the base. Mad Lions aren't the quickest pushers, they don't have an AD carry, but Mad Lions are strong enough to look for a dive. This Maokai is super tanky. Activate Righteous Glory and just look for the dive, you can go for it. Protect the minions!
Horn has come down, Destiny's in place. Nexus turret number 1 is down, Humanoid's tanking everything up. Pulled backwards by Kaiser, and Carzzy gets himself a double. Damn it! Mad Lions take down Origen and secure 4th place in the Spring Split.
What a fantastic performance from Mad Lions, showing us a crazy composition. Renekton mid lane, we had the dives on the bottom side, this team fight as well that happened on the top side of the map. They started to bait the Nasher, the Cloud Drakes began to show up there because we had 2 rotations of ultimates. Eventually the Maokai ult came back, the Lee Sin kick came back, and I think that comes as a surprise because this is something that is hard to get used to when the enemy team has 20% extra less cooldown on those ultimates. The kick landed, Shadow, boom, Maokai with the ultimate as well, was beautiful last fight.
It was absolutely fantastic. It was a beautiful game all around. I just really enjoyed watching the proactive nature of how Mad Lions play. That they were playing to win. They were not playing scared. And yes, a few of the shots missed, and you know they got egg on their face. But it was absolutely fantastic. Anyways, we're going to head over to the analyst stage to break down that game.
Charged up.
Hello, everybody. Let the game begin.
You don't have a chance against me. I can calculate 90 trillion moves in advance. Not fair. Not fair.
Red Bull gives you wings.